Although it was hard for me to believe initially, myself, a technology exists that allows for mind reading. Yes, mind reading, which means that a device exists that is capable of reading an individual's thoughts. The brain is essentially like a computer, and it is possible to intercept signals from the brain and decipher them into human language. Recently, I discovered that this technology is being used to decipher and interpret my thoughts. I began to notice recently that wherever I went, I was being followed. When I attempted to speak to people on the street, they would either ignore me or walk away. I started to observe very bizarre behavior in people around me. I began to notice people acting very oddly or in ways that people don't normally behave in. I soon found out that I was under constant surveillance. I found out that I was being watched and monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even in my own home. I discovered that this had been going on for quite a while and that the individuals were also communicating with my employer without my knowledge. They were using the technology to monitor me at home and while with my family and friends and reporting that personal information back to my employer. People in my workplace and my coworkers began discussing my personal life at my work, and eventually it was the cause of my termination. I was terminated from my job while my wife was 3 months pregnant with my youngest daughter. But at that time, I had no idea that it was due to this ongoing research. For that matter, I had no idea at the time that this technology that people were using allowed them to monitor me 24 hours a day, every day of the week. I was being targeted and pulled over for minor traffic violations, such as seat belts and talking on cell phones while driving. When I found out that this tracking technology was possibly in my body, I became concerned. I have no idea what the health consequences of this technology are. And aside from that, my privacy was being invaded without my consent. I went to the police and I began contacting lawyers, which I am still in the process of doing, but I need help identifying individuals who have been possibly contacted regarding me and this research. Individuals who are contacted are not in any legal trouble. The party conducting the research is doing it without my consent, which is against our constitutional civil rights as Americans, and they are manipulating people in order to coerce them to participate. One individual has been telling people that I will be receiving money for this research, giving the impression that I'm a willing participant. He has also been telling people that he is my personal security. This technological device that is currently being used with me is not 100% accurate. It is a device that somehow attempts to interpret my thoughts. In fact, many of the things that are read are misinterpreted. After 9/11, many technological devices were used to illegally spy on good and honest American citizens, but we still have rights. In addition to the in addition to the fact that this research is being conducted on me against my will, I have not consented to this research. There are a number of ethical concerns regarding this research, such as deception. Apparently, there is also a political agenda tied to this research that is being carried out as well. There are racial and religious slurs that are yelled at me, which may constitute a hate crime, such as Iraqi, Moroccan, and warfare. Um, these are the terms that are being used. Also, when I go to the masjid to worship, uh, all the African Americans are instructed to pray next to me, while people of other races are instructed to pray on the other side, to the left of me. When I walk down the street, people say things such as four whores, a reference, I believe, to the Islamic practice of polygamy. When I pass construction sites, the workers are told to slam heavy objects. I have had individuals attempt to hit me with their vehicles. People are told not to talk to me, and I'm socially ostracized when I go out on the streets and even in the masjid, our Islamic place of worship. In stores, I'm often refused service. People are being told to spit in my food when I order, and I have had people walk up and cough in my face. I've also experienced sexual harassment. Women are being instructed to seduce me, and I've had women rub up against me, putting their gluteus maximus against my genital areas, bend over in front of me, make suggestive sexual advances and obscene sexual gestures towards me. As a religious Muslim man, I find that behavior extremely offensive. I have two children and I'm receiving a small welfare stipend in addition to unemployment because I was wrongfully terminated from my job. And I have student loan debt as well as other debts that I owe. I was at home for over a year with no electricity and no heat in the winter. When the welfare benefits that I was receiving were cut, it posed a serious hardship on me. I had to purchase Pampers for my baby and I no longer had Medicaid health insurance. I have been prevented from receiving gainful employment because the researchers contact all my potential employers and sabotage my employment opportunities. I'm assuming that employment must interfere with their ability to perform this illegal, non consensual research. Often, when I'm in an interview, the research is being conducted while I'm engaged in the interview with the employer, and even during my employment. While I'm in interviews, I've had people ride by the office and blare their horns, and some even blare sirens. This research is seriously impeding my ability to function due to the constant harassment and illegal surveillance. I'm being monitored 24 hours daily. And this has been going on for a number of years now. I became aware of the surveillance only recently, and I have been attempting to retain a lawyer because this behavior, including the research, constitutes a violation of my rights, specifically my Fourth Amendment rights. The Fourth Amendment guarantees protection against unreasonable searches and seizures and provides individuals to be safe in their persons, their possessions, and home. I fear for my personal safety. Recently, I've had threats made on my life. People walk by my home and say things like funeral and hit and other threatening language. I believe this may be due to my desire to stop the illegal surveillance and cease the research that is being conducted on me. Within the last 2 weeks, I've had pit bulls attack me in my neighborhood. I have been assaulted. I had my property stolen, and I have been stopped repeatedly by law enforcement. During the assault, after I was attacked by three men, one of the guys yelled, "Tell Allah to suck my expletive." The violent behavior only seems to be increasing and becoming more intense. I was recently arrested after a guy walked past me and coughed in my face. People had been doing this to me all morning. The last guy that did it caused me to become so irate, I spit on him. Immediately, I was apprehended and arrested. I still have to go to court to dispute these charges on February the 3rd, 2012. All of these actions are being orchestrated by the same individual. One person is masquerading around telling people that he's helping me and that he's doing these things to get the research to cease. This is a blatant fabrication. This individual is the main perpetrator of the harassment. I'm not a violent person by nature. I have no prior criminal record. I was an honor student in undergraduate school. I was on the dean's list in graduate school. I worked with developmentally disabled children for over 5 years. Because of the power that these researchers have, I will not be able to prevent these events and stop this illegal research without retaining a lawyer and taking legal action in court. I have been to the police in Camden, New Jersey and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and filed several written complaints. One issue where I was illegally stopped and searched is currently being investigated by Internal Affairs Department in Philadelphia. On Monday, January 23rd, 2012, I read that in the Jones versus the United States case, the Supreme Court justices ruled that it was illegal to track citizens without a warrant for an extended period of time. I am hoping that this precedent that the court set will help me regain my civil rights. and stop the illegal research and the surveillance. Again, I have not consented to this research, and I have been selected against my will and even without my knowledge, and I'm being forced to be a part of this research experiment. If you have any information to a lawyer or someone who could possibly be of assistance to my specific case, please contact me at nafis1msw@gmail.com. Again, due to my unwillingness to participate in this research, I have been assaulted and received threats on a daily basis. To this day, as we speak, this illegal activity is being conducted against my will. I need to take this case to court in order for it to cease. We are all aware of the famous Tuskegee experiment where African American men were selected and injected with syphilis without their knowledge and prevented access from receiving treatment. Please do not allow history to repeat itself. Thank you.